Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tell Talks Talk Show, Season 2, Episode 14, I believe. Tonight on the show, we've got lots to talk about. We've got quite a TV show heavy episode to talk about. So we've got The Boys, House of the Dragon, The Acolyte. Is The Acolyte back? Is Star Wars back? Is there a bit of redemption, or is it broke canon even more? I want you guys in the chat to let us know tonight. So let's get some guys on. We've got Dino, Joe, and Coombsy. Let's get them both on together. Why not? Let's get this going. So we've got Joe in the Shire and Coombsy. Is it a new planet? I can't remember. Is it a new planet? Where are you, Coombsy? What'd you type in?
I typed in the Acolyte Forest.
It's Kalnaka's gaff.
Yeah, it's where the Wookiee hangs, you know.
Yeah, he's ex-gaff, you know.
Yeah.
Or former gaff. Former gaff. Corey's in the chat. Good to see you in the chat, Corey. And Paul's also here. Thank you for tuning in, guys. So let's get straight into it then. So the Acolyte season 1, episode 5. I think there's talk of a second season. But episode 5, Joe's shaking his head. Someone said, I saw it on Twitter. Someone said it. What was your thoughts then on episode 5?
I think the choreography, lightsaber wise, is the best Disney have done since Disney have owned Star Wars in live action. That is, yeah, I thought it was really good choreography. I loved how Khmer, or the Stranger, as they've now called it tonight, the way he moved and the way that he jawed, I thought that was really sick. Yeah, lightsaber jaw was really good. Dialogue, the same. The dialogue was it's just trash. I think the dialogue it's so lazy. I think Soul gets away from it because he speaks almost like Yoda and like broken sentences, and it sounds more it sounds more Jedi-esque. But I think the rest of it is so like rushed, or like almost like carbon copy of past Star Wars works. It's just really cringe in that respect. But I love the brutality of the episodes. I don't think it saves the series by a long way, but I enjoyed the episode for sure.
Yeah, I think I've got a lot of like bullet points I want to discuss tonight on about the Acolyte, and you've actually covered quite a few of them. But we'll go into further detail. Kuzi, what was your thought on episode 5?
I thought it was the best episode of the series so far. But also, there's a question of how does Soul not know what a Sith is when they're like, in the past, the Jedi and the Sith have had massive battles, and in canon. So how does he not know what a Sith is? And I enjoyed what's his? Is it Key? What was the bloke's name? The Stranger Khmer. Yeah,
Khmer.
I liked his lightsaber. I thought that was quite unique. Having the like little one that came out, and the choreography, as Joe said, was fantastic. But that's the main thing that they get right in Star Wars is the choreography, because they always have the same team around to do that.
Let's talk about the lightsaber duels then. So we had the Stranger, the Sith, or whatever you want to call him, Khmer, against eight Jedi. Maybe, is that about right? 8.
It was about a dozen. 10. It was against 10. Yeah,
because because the ones we didn't know the names of, they died early on. They died pretty quickly.
He killed 8.
He killed 8, yeah. So so where are we ranking the lightsaber duels in the Disney era? I think we it was discussed on another stream, but yeah, where would you rank it? Because we've not had that many lightsaber duels. We've had Finn and Kylo Ren a little bit.
That doesn't even count, really, does it? And then Rey, you had Rey never actually fought anybody with a lightsaber except from trying to hit Kylo in The Force Awakens a couple of times. Then they fought Praetorian guards, and then she just fought Force users that didn't use a lightsaber, didn't she? So there's not actually any other lightsaber battles that I can remember in the sequels. And then, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I didn't enjoy the lightsaber choreography for the most part in Ahsoka. That was one of the only things that bugged me. I think that the way that Rosario's Ahsoka fights is quite rigid. I know it's supposed to be like, oh, she's now the Gandalf of it or whatever, but I think it's quite rigid. So to see this like proper prequel, free flowing, credit to the team behind the Acolytes have cleared on their research, because I think from other breakdowns I've seen that they were actually using Jedi forms and stuff like that. So yeah, that was really cool to see. I think it's probably number one Disney-wise for me. I just don't like the way they kept breaking it up. I know, like in Revenge of the Sith, they break up the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight, but that's because it's half hour. This is like a 27-minute episode. The best part of it is the fighting. You're seeing 20 seconds of fighting, not even that, and then it's cutting away to just someone running through the woods. So we don't care.
Yeah, and Revenge of the Sith is the finale to the trilogy, so it can't be. It can't be rushed. It's got to be dragged out. One Drew wasn't to mention was I can't actually remember if this is Kenobi or if it's Ahsoka. Was when Anakin and Kenobi are fighting, but training at the Jedi Temple.
Oh, that was in Kenobi. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I enjoyed that choreography.
That's good.
Yeah, that's one we haven't mentioned. Coombsy, where do you rank the choreography with the lightsaber duels?
Pretty highly, but in terms of epicness, I think my favorite is the Anakin and Ahsoka battle in Ahsoka, where she's like, "I don't want to fight you," and then they just go full at it and go through it. I thought that was really well done, but I don't know. I'd imagine they use a lot of the same teams and then just kind of split them off and do different things.
Mm-hmm. What about the deaths then? Because there's an awful lot of deaths. One of the deaths I was...
Spoiler alert here for everybody.
Yeah. I don't think people will be too disappointed if, there's Acolyte spoilers. The title is Acolyte, the poster's Acolyte. Yeah, so let's talk about the deaths. One of my favourite deaths was Yord. I was very happy to see him die.
Oh, that was brutal.
And it was very un-Disney like that death. What was your guys' favourite death? Seems a bit sinister, but what death did you enjoy the most?
That random guy that just got thrown away.
Who's that? Who gets thrown away?
Don't know his name. He's gone.
Yeah, that one of the Jedi Masters just got launched, didn't he?
I couldn't tell. I watched it yesterday. Yeah, I think I watched it yesterday. Yeah, it's all breaking up now, so it'll become a bit fuzzy. How about breaking canon then? So you guys know the lore more than me. We'll start with Coombsy then. Where do you think they broke canon on? Or is it still canon?
Where has it? Well, obviously, I said earlier that the Soul not knowing what a Sith is, or like what the illusion of what whatever the stranger's what he is. He's like, oh, you might call me a Sith. It's like, you should know he's a Sith. He's got a red lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got like. My thing is, what's this going to tie into? Or is it a solo thing going forward? There's got to be some connection to a canon project of some kind.
Oof. Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just the point of the show.
Joe?
Yeah,
where does it...
My issue...
Where you say where it breaks canon as well? I think you said it on a TikTok, haven't you?
There's so many stuff. The Ki-Adi-Mundi stuff. It's just ridiculous. I mean, we spoke about it last week. Them changing his age and stuff doesn't matter. But like, nobody's supposed to know about the Sith like for 1,000 years. The point of the Sith is that they operate in the shadows because there's only two of them, and then when they get themselves to a point of power, that's when they try and take over. Plagueis, which is Sidious's master, in the background is trying to learn how to stop people from dying and cheat death so that he can live for as long as possible, because it takes that long to try and gain power. So for this bloke to just go, oh yeah, you might call me a Sith, like, you've literally just said you're trying to stay hidden. You could have, and he just announces that he's a Sith and then lets that soul go. Like, when he lands, he's not like going straight after the ship or like making a conscious effort to go back after Sol. He just goes and tends to Osha. If that, surely you'd be going straight after him, because otherwise you're secret. Because you'd assume Sol's on his way to go straight back to Coruscant, or as soon as he gets in the ship, should be sending a hologram message telling everyone that I've just encountered someone who says he's a Sith and he's killed 8 of my mates.
he's killed
if he does that,
yeah,
if he does that, then canon is properly broke.
Yeah,
but if he doesn't do that, that's not what a Jedi would do. So they have royally screwed themselves. So it's a really weird one, unless they turn it and they're trying to play on the fact that Sol might have done some dark side shit during this ascension thing when the twins got split up. So maybe he's about to send a message, and then May, posing as Osha, goes, "Oh, so what actually happened?" And he goes, "Oh, I killed everyone." And then that stops him sending the message. That's the only thing I can think that would stop it. But it's really jarring, that sort of stuff. But especially because this episode there was some really cool stuff. What's it called? It's Colomite or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Which is the metal that's used in Kamir's helmet, and he's got a gauntlet like Aragorn's gauntlet, basically. And that's made out of this metal that's from Legends. So they have done their research. They're just choosing what to care about and what not to. That's the rarest metal, basically. It's rarer than Beskar, and it's basically a bit like Black Panther's suit, where it absorbs energy, and it absorbs. So if you shoot a blast with it, it just makes a blaster bolt disappear. But if you hit a lightsaber with it, it will short out a lightsaber. It's like it's short circuit stuff, basically. So if you hit it with massive impact, it will short a lightsaber out for like, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe. But like when Jackie hit it, that's why it just went off and came on, because she just like dabbed it. So that stuff's really cool. And they confirmed it today. They've posted some stuff on Instagram today, and they used the actual name of it. It was like people were theorizing yesterday. So that's really sick. Something we've not seen and is actually used from source material. So that's why people get pissed off, because they're like, they can't turn around and go, "Oh, we're not listening to any source material." Well, you are, because you're choosing some bits to choose from. That's what winds people up.
Yeah, they're picking and choosing what they want. Yeah, well, that be canon, and we're going to break that a bit up. And then, we're not really going to consider the fans in this bit. Paul asked, he stopped watching after episode 3. Is it still worth sticking with? What do you think?
I think it's worth watching. It's easy to watch because the episodes are so short. If they were an hour long, I wouldn't be watching it until it all came out, I don't think. But the fact that it's like, literally before credits, it's like 25 minutes.
Because you have the recap bit as well included.
Yeah, they recap every episode. Then they do the intro. And then that Star Wars bit where it shows all the masks. That's a good minute or so at the start of the thing.
And then you got the end credits, which I don't know how long that is. I think you make a good point with the watch time. If it was an hour long each one, I don't think I'd generally find the time to do it, just to sit down for an hour a day. But you're looking at about 22 to 28 minutes an episode, really. And you can probably fit it. You can probably fit it in. Coombsy, is it worth watching?
I'd say it's the kind of thing that you watch an episode and you're intrigued on how the story is going to go, but you're not necessarily liking it. It's kind of like the new series of Doctor Who. A lot of people don't like it. I myself included. I don't like it. But when I heard that they brought back somebody from, years and years ago to come into this episode, I was like, I got to watch and find out what happens. So, it's a series that you love to hate, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if something comes on from a universe that you like, you kind of have to watch it once. And if you don't want to watch it again, you don't watch it again. There's loads of stuff I've not watched in the Star Wars universe and MCU universe that I've just not gone back to. I can't see myself going back to watch She-Hulk ever again. It's out there. And I've done my bit, watched it once, and that's it.
We're renting out a cinema to watch the next Eternals movie, aren't we?
Mate, I've got time for Eternals. I don't mind Eternals.
I would
I've
watch
got one more.
Eternals again over so much stuff.
Yeah. I've got one more question then. So I'm not sure if it's as simple as this, but is he a master or an apprentice, or is he none? This kid, my bloke.
I don't think he's a
None.
master. But yeah, I think he's none. I think that they've tried to bait people by saying he's Sith when he goes, "You might call me Sith." I'm hoping that's just them like winding all the people in, and he's actually not. But if he is an apprentice, I don't mind it.
An
And
apprentice
season
of
two.
Well, apparently they've cancelled season 2. There was supposed to be a season 2. Apparently they've cancelled it, but it's unofficial.
So
They'd not
we end on
usually
a
by
cliffhanger,
now.
right?
Yeah, usually by now during a series, the next series is announced. Like House of Dragon, after the first episode dropped, they said season 3's been commissioned. Ahsoka was the same. As soon as like the first few episodes do well, next series has been commissioned or being written.
Although
There's
they
been
didn't
nothing.
officially do that until the show ended.
Oh, didn't they?
There was
I thought they had done.
No, there was like rumblings of it, of Ahsoka, and then when the show finished and they did all the behind the scenes, because it was strike time. So, and then when they did all the behind the scenes things, I think it was when they announced Tales of the Jedi. They said that Ahsoka season 2 is in production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you want a season 2? Or does it depend on the? Yeah. Or does it depend on the final episode?
No.
Currently, no.
Yeah. And then we've got Skeleton Crew.
That might be good.
What era is that set in?
It's during like the Mandoverse stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so it brings you back to more present.
It was originally meant to be what's her name? Cara Dune.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they moved her, and then it's got what's his name?
Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law. It's got Jude Law in it. I feel like it could be interesting. I'm wondering if they bring in Omega from the Bad Batch in live action there, because at the end of Bad Batch, she goes off and joins the rebellion. So
yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see if anything does happen with Bad Batch. See if they do link it and connect it to anything else. Right, and let's move on to some top 5 then. Let's get the little grids up. So we'll do a little switcheroo. I'll go top. Kim's in the middle.
Oh.
All right. Just let me remove the banner. Joe, I'll let you choose then what one we go with first. So these we're doing our top 5 ranking of stuff. This was chosen by the chat last week. So Joe, if you choose what one we go for first, we'll go
let's do top 5 Funkos we want to be made to get out of the way.
Is it want to be made?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought you just said top 5 Funkos.
Yeah. Joe did tell you. Joe told you.
No, it just says Funkos.
Yeah. No. I can't remember. I think this was suggested by Milky. If you want, we'll come back. We'll do that one in the end if you want to think about
it. Yeah.
Let's do boys' characters.
Right. Let me get the boys up. All right, and we'll start with you then, Joe. Your top 5 boys' characters. Start with Joe. Your number 5.
My number 5 is Starlight. Would have been higher, now lower. I think she's very strong, literally, and as a character, the first 2 seasons. And it's starting to get a bit mid, but still better than some others, in my opinion. So Starlight's my 5.
Coombs, you want to take it or Jamaica?
My number 5 is Starlight as well. Which I will say without spoiling it, in the newest episode, there's a bit of Starlight content and stuff's going on. So, yeah, she's just not really been strong. I hope she does get stronger, because she has the potential with all that light beam power stuff. But at the moment, she's very mid.
Yeah, so I've just got to have a disclaimer. My top 5 are based on season 1 to 3, so I've not seen season 4 yet. So mine is going to be different for obvious reasons. And my number 5 is Queen Maeve. The last time I saw her, I like Queen Maeve, so I can't really give you anything more than that. So my memory's a little bit blurred, but I've gone Queen Maeve at number 5.
My number 4 is Huey.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably one of the best. It's actually, I was going to say he's probably one of the best performances, but there's so many good ones. But I really enjoy the humanity behind Huey, and that he just wears his heart on his sleeve. And in the first season, I couldn't believe it. When I first watched The Boys, I had no idea about it, and Huey was a standout for me in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for Huey.
Kimsey?
My number 4 is A-Train, because I feel like he's a character that obviously he's done some really bad stuff, but he's a character that's got an interesting path going forward. I'd say whether they do comic wise or whether they do their own thing, I can't say, and it's not really a spoiler, but I'm gonna say that maybe there's a redemption of the character kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
People might start liking him.
Has anyone included Gen V characters?
No.
Just I've not seen Gen V either. My number 4 is also Huey. I found him very jarring in season 1 and 2. I think season 3 is where he kind of stepped up a bit, and I liked it. Yeah, I liked him best in season 3 the most. I think that was when he got the power to teleport, didn't he? And then he ends up naked everywhere. So, that was like my last memory of him. So yeah, Huey's my number 4.
My number 3 is Soldier Boy. I think he's the standout character in season 3. Really dominating presence, brilliant performance. I've recently rewatched season 3, and he's so good, so good. Like all the little one-liners or something in response to people are just so cool. He's got that like cowboy-esque about him. Just I think he's really sick, and I hope he shows up again because really cool.
Okay.
My number 3 is Huey. You basically hit the nail on the head with season 1. You really feel a sense of humanity in the character, and then season 3, it's just funny. It's just funny. And going into season 4, it's kind of a mix of both. He's really grown as a character throughout the whole thing going forward. So, and Jack Quaid is doing a great job.
Yeah, I do like it. All right, don't leave the chat. All right, and don't walk out of the stream. My number 3 is Homelander. I like Homelander. I just like the other two more consistency because he's the villain. You love to hate him, but yeah, no, my number 3 is Homelander.
Yeah, I'm on the same sort of page. That I don't see a problem with it. You are saved, and my number 2 is Billy Butcher. I think in season 2 and 3, it's season 3 when he sort of like crosses that line and gets powers himself. That fight in what's it called? Or Hero Gasm is unreal between him and Homelander. And I just like, again, his sort of like one-liners are fantastic, and hence why Carl Urban is extremely rare to get at cons or anything like that, and he's extremely expensive. I think it is a testament to obviously his performance as that character. So yeah, I think he's brilliant. It's a weird one in the last season, the season going on at the minute. He's kind of a wreck as a bloke.
It gets weirder.
Yeah, so he's a very interesting character. But yeah, Billy Butcher is my number 2.
So what's his power? I've completely forgot.
In season 3, when he's taking Temp V, he basically becomes Homelander essentially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been a long while since I last watched it.
The laser beams.
Yeah, 'cause I thought that was the baby. That's why. Because of the
Yeah, that's
Funko
in
Pop.
season 1, isn't it? Season 1?
Is it? Yeah, I can't. Jerry can't remember. Coombsy, your number 2.
My number 2 is Homelander because I like Superman, but it's like Superman mixed with Brightburn, but
It's a good
even
shout.
more fucked up. It's just the most messed up version of Superman you could possibly have in any media, and he's just getting crazier and crazier as the show goes on, doing the most crazy things. I mean, especially in the last week's episode. Not going to say anything there, but I'm just going to say that was brutal.
Yeah, I've seen the image of him covered in blood, but I've got no context as to what happened. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
watch it at some point. Yeah. My number 2 is actually the same as Joe's again. I've actually gone Butcher. Really like Billy Butcher. Took me a while to get on board with him. I can't remember what season I finally got on board with him. But yeah, strong character. Excited to see what happens in season 4. I'm hoping he becomes a better character in season 4. But yeah, I liked him. That's my number 2.
My number 1 is Homelander. I absolutely despise him as a character, which is just a testament, one, to the character and how he's portrayed. How Anthony Starr hasn't got a Emmy yet for playing him, I don't know. But I think after this season, he will be a strong favourite, I'd say. That episode that you've just referred to, season 4, episode 4, is a masterpiece of acting. It is absolutely brilliant. It's so chilling, and so emotional as well. Actually, from a really dark point of view. Yeah, he's just very, very good, and I really like how he's evolved. Like every season, there's something different that's ticked him. And yeah, just the way he's portrayed. But as an actual character, I despise him, which speaks volumes, I think.
Yeah, I can't argue that was number 1. Coombsy, what's Coombsy's number 1?
Butcher. My number 1 is Butcher. Yeah, because Carl Urban knocks it out of the park, and it's a character that from the first episode you feel like that's going to be one of my favorites, and then continuing on, he the way he deals with things is just probably how you would in a real life situation, if that were happen. If we lived in a world of superheroes and you didn't like them very much, that's exactly what you do. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how they deal with what's happening this season. It's very, very interesting.
How many episodes we got? 8?
It's 8 or 10, isn't it?
Yeah, 8 or 10. I hope it's 10.
Yeah, I definitely need to catch up. My number 1, so it's based on season 1 to 3. I think the first couple episodes, there's only one soup that I actually liked, and that was Starlight. Starlight is actually my number 1. So I'm assuming it's going to change then from season 4. Was she both your number 5s? She's both your number 5 right now, is she?
Yeah.
So originally was the only soup I did like, but yeah, so Starlight's my number 1. Not sure if that's going to change then. Corey's put his top 5 in the chat. He's gone for Homelander in 5th, Mother's Milk in 4, Victoria Newman 3, A-Train 2, and Huey 1. Yes, and no one's mentioned Mother's Milk. What's your take on Mother's Milk then in season 4?
It's more of a commanding role in season 4, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I like him. I really like him when it shows stuff between his family and that in the earlier seasons. And they actually connect with the character, but I think they've kind of so far, I wouldn't say done him dirty, but they've made him a bit of like a he just gets on people's cases about everything, and it's very dismissive, and it's just a bit jarring. He's had loads of hate as well, Laz Alonso, because basically he's lost a bit of timber and had a shave, and people going, it's not. Yeah, he's had a shave. People are like, it's not the same guy. It's like, it clearly is the same guy. Maybe literally just trimmed a bit.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, maybe the beard does make a massive difference. Next up, then, should we do the Funko wish list or the other one?
I'm not even going to be able to do that one because I'm still bamboozled.
All right, we'll do top 5 movie deaths. This one was voted for by Mark. So, yeah, top 5 movie deaths. We'll start with Coombsy then for this one, then go to Joe, and then to myself. So, Coombsy, you're number 5.
My number 5 is Mufasa.
Ooh.
Because if you're our age, let's say, around our age, then The Lion King was an early movie for us. And you thought, oh yeah, it's going to be a light-hearted movie. There's going to be lions having fun. No.
Having fun.
No. You get that shoved in your face of an uncle killing his brother. It's like, oh, it's actually really dark.
Yeah.
Oh.
Imagine if in the live action one, they literally he actually got trampled and he was just crushed. They did it proper live action. How brutal that would have been. My number 5 is the Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1.
Ooh,
I think
nice.
It is an absolutely unreal death. The little line he gives afterwards of "Don't tell Harry," the way that he tricks him in, and then the Goblin comes out, presses the button, and the dynamic of the two is chef's kiss. It's very, very good.
I think what I am going to do, if we ever get a perfect top 5 between us, I will do a giveaway. So I will give away some Funko Pops. So just for future, if it does happen. My number 5, it's a bit on trend because of A Quiet Place Day 1's at the cinema right now. So I've gone for Lee, which is John Krasinski's character in The Quiet Place, when he makes a sacrifice and he obviously screams out loud so the monsters come kill him. But that was a mad moment. He does that, "I've always loved you." That was mad, and so yeah, that is my number 5, Lee from A Quiet Place. Can you see?
Number 4, I've gone for Logan as Hugh Jackman's meant to be last appearance, but we're getting another one, so
it's meaning us now.
It was much more impactful when it was his last appearance.
Yeah.
And Old Man Logan is also kind of what it's based on, and that's just an interesting story of the mutant losing their ability to heal and slowly dying. And you had Daphne Keane at the side, one of her first roles. She did a fantastic job, and I really do hope she's back in Deadpool 3, but we don't know. Yeah, it was much more impactful, and it probably would have been higher when it was his last film.
Joe, your number 4?
My number 4 is Arnold, who is the Nazi in Raiders of the Lost Ark when he opens the Ark up and then melts. That haunted me as a kid. I found that really disturbing, but also really cool and stays on your mind afterwards. Yeah, brilliant film and a really cool death.
Because the visual effects, they're pretty good at the time, but now it's not aged well, but it's still
Do you know what it looks like now? It looks like when he melts and goes to that skeleton, it looks like, in Home Alone,
Marv.
Home Alone 2, when Marv gets electrocuted and turns to a skeleton. It looks like that.
My number 4, which I feel like it will be on your list, Joe. I've gone Boromir in Lord of the Rings. One of my top 5 Lord of the Rings characters is Lurtz, the orc that kills Boromir, and it's a very heroic death. 3 arrows into the chest, and he still carries on fighting and looks up at Lurtz to stand his ground just so the Merry and Pippin get away. But really heroic death that, and yeah, I like Boromir. Really good character. So yeah, Boromir is my number 4.
My number 3 is Dobby.
Oh, it's a great one.
Growing up with Harry Potter, and you know it's going to happen if you've read books, but I wasn't the kid that read the books beforehand. I went with the movie route, and I didn't know it was going to happen. I was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
No. And everybody still to this day goes to that beach and leaves like a pebble with the little R.I.P. Dobby, and there's a whole thing. It's just been such an impactful thing.
Oh, I'm gutted I missed that. I can't believe I didn't have that.
You've had a Pirates of the Caribbean moment, haven't you?
That's a very good one. That's a very good one.
My number 3 is also Boromir.
Oh, so, yes.
Yeah. as Tel's already said, yeah, very, very heroic. One, so he can carry on fighting to help Merry and Pippin get away, but also I really like his redemption with Aragorn as he's dying, and he professes Aragorn as the true king of Gondor, and admits that he was corrupted by the ring, and that it should be destroyed. I thought that was like a really good death, not just the heroism side of it, but the that sort of emotional side afterwards is really prominent. And you're reminded by it for the rest of the films, because his gauntlets, which we spoke about earlier, Aragorn actually they're Boromir's, but Aragorn then takes them. So if after the boat goes down the river with Boromir's body, you then see Aragorn do that, tighten them, and a lot of people don't notice that it's because he's taken Boromir's gauntlets as a reminder of him.
Mm-hmm.
They're really emotional.
Yeah, I remember him saying they've taken the little ones.
They've taken the hobbits to Isengard.
My number 3, I think we're getting into some serious territory now. My number 3 is Apollo Creed in Rocky 4.
Ooh.
When he gets brutalized by Ivan Drago. I was actually shocked when I first watched that. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, it felt real. It actually felt like a really real death, like a freak accident in the actual, in the acting side of it. But yeah, absolute brutal death. And then obviously it sets up the rest of the film. But yeah, Apollo Creed in Rocky 4, proper serious death. That.
My number 2 is Aunt May in No Way Home.
Marissa Tomei one, yeah.
You kind of knew something had to happen in that film.
Yeah.
But you didn't expect the way that it was gonna go, and credit to Willem Dafoe on that one. He smashed it out of the park with how he killed her, and you're like, yeah, it's all gonna be fine. Then you see the blood, and you're like, oh, yeah, she's not making it out of that building.
That's so strong one. Some good ones. Very good answers in this list.
My number 2 is Iron Man. Obviously, it was the end of many phases and 8 to 10 years of a Marvel universe build up to sort of not end, but it almost feels like it did end in a way. End all the Infinity Saga, especially, and it is perfect. It's a perfect send off for the character, and I think it was expected that either him or Cap was going to die, but you also didn't really believe that they'd kill him off, especially in that fashion, and the sort of brutal nature of it as well. When after he's done the snap, and you see how effed up he is, I found that really shocking that they'd actually show that at the end of the film. That literally half his body is effectively gone, and really emotional. And then the funeral scene as well, just added to all of that. It's a perfect send off, a perfect casting and character, I'd say.
Cool. My number 2 is Harry Potter, but I've gone for Snape. So yeah, Snape was a good death? It was a strange death because it was Voldemort and then Nagini just eating the hell out of him. But it was of course aided by the flashback, and you actually find out about Lily and all that, and how he'd always loved Lily. So yeah, that's what made it more emotional, that one. But yeah, that was a really sad death. Snape in Deathly Hallows Part. Oh, is it Part 1 or 2? Part 2. Yeah. Snape Deathly Hallows Part 2 is my number 2. All right, on to number 1s.
My number 1 is Tony Stark in Endgame. Because every time, and I'm not even joking, every time I have to watch the whole movie, every time I end up crying. Because it's like that. It's, as Joe said, it feels like the end of an era. And the way they did it was just brutal, with him sitting there, and she's like, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay," and then it rolls into the funeral, and the funeral actually adds to the death as well. Seeing all the characters come together and seeing ones come back that you thought were just like gone. Yeah, and also the arc reactor being on the lake. Pepper's arc reactor just going out to the lake. That was the moment that just made me go, "Oh no, that character's gone."
Until Secret Wars. Oh god. My number 1 is Darth Vader. That hits me every time. The sort of redemption of Anakin. I think it'll be interesting to see how it affects me now. After I've not watched Return of the Jedi since a lot of these Disney Plus shows have come out and kind of diluted Star Wars. So it'd be interesting to see how it hits me this time. But the redemption of it, and then the unmasking. I remember watching that as a kid, and even now, when he goes to take the helmet off, and it's so slow, and like the sound effects of taking the helmet off, that sort of like almost like he's taking Tupperware apart, and hearing that sort of like air escape, and then finally seeing this, like, oh, he's just like he's an old man. Especially the first time you watch it before you know what happens prequels wise. It's you've made someone that's been this big, bad, evil guy really human. I think it's just great. And then the Force Ghost scene at the end. It's fantastic. It's, my favorite death, because it's like a happy death, where a lot of these we've spoke about previously have all been sad. Where this one, you're actually like, you're glad he's passed, if that makes sense. That one stands out for me as number 1.
My number 1, it has been mentioned, Tony Stark Endgame. It was, can't really add much on it after what you guys have said, but the funeral scene where it's like where everyone's standpoints, where every character is standing, and there's like little moments. I think some characters resting their head on each other. I think Peter Parker's with Aunt May standing there, and you got Happy there. Really emotional. It's almost like going through the whole MCU, just looking at all the characters that have fought with all the Avengers and stuff. But really emotional death, and it was technically the end of the MCU. If it wasn't the end of the MCU, it was definitely the end of that Infinity Saga era. But that Tony Stark death is right up there, and he was always going to die from bravery and doing something courageous instead of getting murdered. It was going to have to be a self-sacrifice, but the way they actually chose to do it like that was awesome. Anything else from you guys? Cool.
Well, that's what Cap said in the first Avengers. He said he's not the guy to make the sacrifice play, and he did make the sacrifice play.
Oh yeah. That was like in the first Cap film where he jumps on the grenade, doesn't he? Even though he's a dummy. Yeah. Right. And next up, we've got top 5 Funko Pop wish list We'll let Coos go last on this one.
No, I've actually done it. I've done
All
it.
right. You can still go last.
All right, that's fine.
I'll go first on this one then. My number 5. I don't think they'll make it for not legal reasons, but I think they see it as a bit immoral. Is the Joker Funko Pop, but the Joaquin Phoenix one. I don't think they're interested in making merch for that. But yeah, I've gone Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker.
That's a good shout. My number 5, where is it? Is recent, might be recency bias, but I think it would look really cool. Is bike riders pops, like pop rides, but of the bike riders with the individual bikes and the characters. I think that would be sick.
They should have done that for Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Did they not? They just done them as standalone characters then, did they?
Yeah, pop rides I don't think were a thing back then.
Yeah, they could really do something good with pop rides because they've got like the half ones now, and like the Darth Maul and the Speeder. It's like it's not really a pop ride, but it's not a 6-inch, it's not a standard 3 inches in between, wherever that is. Coombsy, your number 5?
My number 5 is Lucifer Pops, which apparently have been promised for the longest time. There was a leak that they were coming out. There were even like chase listings, and then they just cancelled them like that. So some licensing somewhere decided that wasn't going to happen, but they do a lot of conventions. And the first, honestly, before it went to Netflix, it was a really good show. When it went to Netflix, it kind of went a little bit downhill.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we want. We kind of want pops that we could probably get signed at a con. My number 4, not sure if you guys have seen the film, is Small Soldiers. I love some Small Soldiers Funko Pops. So Archer and Major Chip Hazard. The Gorgonites and the Commando Elite. I'd probably buy the whole
customs.
Yeah, I've never seen the customs.
Yeah, but they're really good. I might make some when I get the printer.
I'd buy the whole collection. I'm not sure how much that would take. Even then, I think there's some of them in cars in the film, and then you can link Barbie with it somehow. Barbie with a skinhead and all that. So there's so many versions of pops you can make with Small Soldiers, but that'd be so sick. So yeah, Small Soldiers pops is my number 4. Joe, is it you?
Yes. My number 4 is Tarzan pops.
Sure.
One of the only ones that like Disney haven't made from that sort of era, and can't really understand why, because I think they'd sell really well. Again, we spoke about pops would get signed at cons. Would be really cool for Brian Blessed to sign a Clayton pop.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tarzan, and yeah, I just don't really get it because they can do a 6-inch one of what's his name? The elephant.
Tantor.
Yeah.
Tantor.
Yeah, they'd sell really well, and they could do like a chase of Aladdin, Tarzan. That could be a good one.
It could be one of them crossover ones.
Yeah, they could do a chase of Tarzan when he's young and when he's an adult and stuff like that. So God knows why they haven't made him, and that'd be really cool.
Yes, you got Sabor the leopard, Turk or Kirk, can't remember.
Turk.
Jane, yeah, so many good ones.
There's loads.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Jane's dad, I can't remember what he's called in it. Well,
not Nigel, is it?
It's not gonna come.
Nigel Thornberry.
Thornberries.
Yeah, it's not gonna come.
They actually have pops.
Yeah, I think I've seen them. Cozy, your number 4?
4. Yeah, my number 4, we actually spoke about it at MCM when we met Emily Swallow. It's Amara from Supernatural. Which is basically, she's God's sister. She's basically, it's a very confusing thing when Supernatural goes all very strange in the later seasons. But she's always doing cons. They gave Felicia Day a pop, but they've not gotten many other characters have got one apart from like the main cast, and I don't understand why, because they're fan favorite characters.
Yeah, I can't add nothing on that because I'm not seeing Supernatural, but they got some pops.
Yeah, they've got Crowley, Bobby, Felicia Day's character Charlie, then Dean Castiel. They've got the main characters throughout it, but they don't have really any of the side characters.
And you've got the ones in the car. Is that Supernatural?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get confused. Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, and I'm sure there's another one. I always get confused with all that stuff. But yeah, that sounds good. Joe, no, is it me? My number 3.
Sure,
Yeah. A bit on trend still. I've gone Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes pops. Obvious shout outs would be Noah. But that'd be nice to get Nova, the human, and then Raka, the orangutan. I really love Raka. Raka would be a really cool one. And I just feel like animal Funko Pops are always really cool and they always look nice. And with Kingdom Planet Apes Pops, they can have accessories, whether it be like an eagle egg or holding a gun or like a loincloth around them. There's always or actually having an eagle on them, yeah. So there's loads of options. Or riding a horse, so many cool ideas. That'd be cool. Like you have the bike riders on the motorbikes and then the apes on the horses. But yeah, that'd be so sick. So yeah, I love Kingdom Planet Apes Pops. But yeah, that's my number 3.
My number 3 is Radagast the Brown from The Hobbit. They did make quite a lot of Hobbit pops, but they never made a Radagast one, which I just don't understand. You have a wizard that would sell so well, especially now, and it would sell not even just to sell because Lord of the Rings and Hobbit pops just fly off shelves still. But Sylvester McCoy does every single con in the country, so. Like literally last week,
He'll be
Swindon.
Rich.
He's in Swindon. Every single con I see, he's there. He's there. It's all the little leisure centre ones. He does all those too. So it would sell to everyone. So
he'd be happy.
And Hobbit, Hobbit pops. There's not been one for a long time. So yeah, that's.
They look outdated, don't they? They do need a Gollum.
The Gollum one is quite disturbing.
They
I
definitely need
some people want to get that signed. I'm like, really? You want to get the anorexic Gollum that looks like he's come out of a cupboard and is about to scare the crap out of you instead of the regular Gollum or the Chase with a fish? I like the Hobbit. No, you just want the most expensive one.
Yeah. Coombs, your number 3?
My number 3 is either a ride or it could be a deluxe, and it's the Shield helicarrier.
Ooh.
So the big ships that they have in Avengers. Yeah, I'd like to see one of them because you could pair it with a pop, or you could just have it on its own. I know they've done the Avengers Tower, but I feel like the Shield helicarrier is also a crucial Infinity Saga thing.
Mm-hmm. It could be a builder scene.
That would be cool.
That's how they make money. I've not seen that. I know they've done the Avengers Tower, but I've not seen it in person. Have you seen it?
No,
I don't think it's as big. Yeah, it's not as big as we think, is it?
No. It should have been an 18-inch, massive thing, but instead it's a tiny thing and then a little Iron Man on the side that you can't even remove, I don't think.
It'd be better if the Iron Man was smaller, because then it makes the tower look bigger. Yeah.
It looks worse as well because the Lego is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, your number... No, it's me.
Sure.
My number 2. I'm going to actually swap my number 2s around, 2 and 1 around. Yeah, my number 2 now is Beta from The Walking Dead, who's in the Whisperers, so had the mask. Don't understand why he didn't get a pop. They done Walking Dead supply drops, and they actually done a beta Walking Dead supply drop, where you think he's gonna be, the pop you're gonna get, the exclusive one, but end up being a bloody variant of Negan or a black and white Negan or something. So I don't know what happened there. They just didn't do it, and they promoted the Whisperer War so much. And I think that there's loads of Walking Dead characters they could make, but Beta was such an obvious one, especially that as they made Alpha. I thought surely they have to make Beta. But yeah, it didn't. Oh, that was it. They done Dog, Daryl Dixon's dog, and then they released the Flock's dog, which you didn't really need. You got dog. But yeah, I would have rather a beta Funko Pop. But yeah, that's my number 2. Joe?
My number 2, staying on theme, is Faramir.
He does cons as
Nice.
well, doesn't he?
And it's one of those. There's a few Lord of the Rings characters that are crucial characters that they just haven't released, and they've released doubles and triples of other characters, like Frodo, for example, where the fact Theoden has only been released in the last 3 months or so, when Lord of the Rings pops been being made for the last few years, just seems mental to me. And Faramir again is a massive part of Return of the King. And I'm very surprised it's not been made yet. Same as like when loads of characters.
Well, yeah,
Arwen's not got her own pop either. So mad.
They done like I can't remember his name. The ghost in Return of the King.
Oh, Dunharrow King.
Yeah, I feel like like Faramir would be a better pop than that right now. No one's really asked for the Dunharrow King right now.
Well,
like,
they're pushing it, so we don't know.
Yeah, you've not got that in your collection, have you? Dunharrow King.
No, I've got Aragorn with them behind, with the Army of the Dead behind him. I think you have as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the Dunharrow King, you're not as fussed about. I think you'd rather the Faramir, wouldn't you?
I'd rather the Faramir. I do want that Dunharrow King. I think it looks really cool. It looks very Dungeons and Dragons-esque, actually. It looks like the gelatinous cube. But yeah, just Faramir would be a really cool one. I really like having the actual the men from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 2, and very close to number 1 actually.
Coons, is it you? 2?
Yeah.
Yep. My number 2 is the Daily Bugle. I feel like it would be a good one of those pop towns where you could have like a Spider-Man swinging from it or something like that. I know that the Lego set is really, really cool, but sometimes you don't have the space to display a massive Lego set, or you don't have £300 to spend on one. So so that would be an option that people had, and I feel like it would sell well because it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think both of your answers. I could see him being a builder scene. Like I could see him doing like a Fellowship of the Ring builder scene where they're all plotting how to destroy the ring, and then we'll sitting down around the table. That'd be a really sick one. And then like a Daily Bugle one. I could see him do a builder scene somehow as well, because they done it with No Way Home, didn't they? On the is that a bit of it was statue? Was it on the Statue of Liberty? Sort of.
Yeah, but I didn't like the way they did it. Because they had 2 on top, and then they had 1 down below, so you didn't have the 3 on top like the scene from the movie.
Yeah. That's why I get really frustrated when it's not movie accurate. My number 1, it might be a bit random. Don't really talk about it that much on stream. Is actually Only Fools and Horses characters.
Great shout.
I'd love a Del Boy, a Rodney, a Granddad, an Uncle Albert, Trigger, Boise.
An Uncle Albert pop would be unreal. Trigger, a chase with or without a broom.
Yeah, the free will van. I'd get them all.
Such a good shout.
You could have an error one of Rodney that says Dave on the box instead.
Yeah. So there's so many options. But yeah, that was my number 2, and that's what I swapped right at the end. Yeah, I have got these. I'm not sure if I've shown these off. So they sell. I think I've got these for Christmas in B&M, where you got the little van there. So they are almost Funko size. These are literally bobbleheads.
If that van was a tiny bit bigger, you could put a pop inside.
So I've got these. So that's the closest I've got to a pop. I didn't even realize that you got Uncle Albert in the back there. I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even see that until now. But that's quite. So yeah, I'd love Fools and Horses Funko Pops. Yeah, solid number 1. Joe, what about you, mate?
My number 1 was almost mentioned a minute ago. It's like a slash. So they have done crazy packs. A long 9-pack of the Fellowship would be really cool, I think, because then it would save people having to do all these restocks.
How big would the box be, though?
It'd be ridiculous. It'd be like that.
They've done No Way Home
It'd be
10
the
pack,
size of
didn't
bag
they?
end. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did like 3, and then they could do it if it was in that big box.
Yeah, they did a 8-pack, didn't they, in Rogue One?
And Civil War, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash, something that I think that they actually might end up doing. I have a suspicious feeling is the Council of Elrond, which is what you kind of just mentioned. Is when everyone from that scene where they're discussing the ring, where they all gather at Rivendell, and they split all that table into parts, like they did with the bounty hunters and stuff. I think that would be quite cool. But and if they did it not huge and they were like the same sort of size as the pops you get in like the calendars, then it would actually be quite easy to display with like a bit of like Rivendell foliage and stuff. Yeah, that'd be quite sick.
So no black lights from no one then.
No, up until now, unless you. Oh no. Oh, was I last one? Oh, Coombsy's the last one. Unless Coombsy's mirrors anybody's, we've said different answers for every single thing so far.
Yeah, sorry, nobody's getting any pops. My number 1 is Spectacular Spider-Man, because the show is great. He was in Across the Spider-Verse, so I want more Across the Spider-Verse pops. There's so many you could do from that, even if they were in small things. I hope he gets one for the next movie if he's featured more. Josh Keaton does plenty of cons in the States, and I'm sure he would absolutely love for there to be one. I think the only reason there isn't one is probably licensing, because it's kind of up in the air who owns it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my list now because I'm trying to collect more pop movies. So if I do buy a pop, it will hopefully be down the pop movies line. I've got Kingdom Planet of the Apes, Small Soldiers, Joker, and then Falls and Horses, Walking Dead. So we'll start on the thing with Funko Pops then briefly. So are you two still collecting pops? I know we're trying to trim down our collections, but are you still collecting?
Not really.
Even
like for signings and stuff, I've kind of gone off bit. I've rearranged my setup to an extent because I'm like, how much can I display without it looking too like cram for my liking or looking too like messy, basically. So a lot of my pops are in a box at the minute that I've put, and I've decided what I want to keep and what I get rid of. I like having one pop now from movies, especially, as you say. I'm not really that bothered on series. I think I'm going to go down poster routes for series and get like A3s, and then for big movie, get a big poster and that sort of thing. But it would have to be someone that really, really took my fancy now for me to buy a pop, I think.
Yeah, like Phantom Menace for me. I was so sure I was going to buy all of them, and I've held off. Yeah, and
they're going to be on sale though. You know they are.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Again, they'll just probably sit behind other pops. Or at the moment, I'm just going to end up displaying my signed pops. The rest of my collection here, they're not organised. Like I've got No Way Home up there, which I've just not even changed since the film came out. I've not very rarely moved my setup. Coombsy, you buying pops still?
That's the only one I bought recently. It's the Symbiote Spider-Man. It is, yeah. And I had to buy it because I knew it was going to sell out. Because it sold out in the States within like 10 minutes somehow. I love the game, and then hopefully I've got Yuri right there, but I'd love to get one with a quote like I'm trying to think of the quote now. It makes me a better Spider-Man.
So Corey's put his top 5 wish list in. I think Jackie Lon's got a pop, hasn't she?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's one for.
No.
Oh, is she not? She's not in part of that Acolyte stuff.
No, I don't think she is.
That's even weird. Isn't it?
If not, that's stupid.
So we've got Scream characters: Jackie Lon, Helena Targaryen. I don't think she's got one yet. They did do a little teaser with an announcement, but yeah, Helena hasn't got one yet. All the Jackets ones, yes. Jacket's character's grown up. Victoria Newman. I'm not sure who that is. Is she from The Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boys.
because I think I saw that mentioned there earlier. Yeah, I think they're going to keep growing the Boys pops. We had the wave of Kimiko, Mother's Milk, and the other A Train, wasn't it? You can't see yours. Oh, Soldier Boy as well. They done a couple of Soldier Boys variants, didn't they?
They need
Yeah.
Frenchie.
What are you showing? Oh yeah, that one as well.
Really?
Yeah, was that drop on its own?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sold out in a minute. That sold out ridiculously fast, but then the price hasn't increased.
Yeah,
It's Vinted if anyone wants it.
It's weird because they are limiting pops to like 2 per customer or 1 per customer now as well.
I don't
Yeah,
get that. 'Cause it changes.
Theodem was 1.
Yeah,
It changes.
and they do sell out, so it's a weird one. Anything else Funko wise you guys want to chat about before we move on?
Nothing new. I mean, we could talk about what's coming up. I do know that One Piece, if you're a fan of that, there's a tease that they've got new live action ones coming.
Okay, yeah.
And there's loads of signed ones for sale on Vinted.
Is there? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's not really anything. You don't really see as many announcements from Funko. I've noticed over the last couple of days that they've been doing drops on Funko Europe at 5:30, like they were doing like every other day during COVID and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're just re-releasing old pops. I've noticed in like Smiths, especially in and HMV. I went in HMV the other day to look for posters, and they had like old Mandalorian pops and some other stuff, which they've been doing in Smiths. The Entertainer's the same stock that's been in there for over a year, hasn't moved at all.
Still got the Marvels, you know.
Yeah, and like Jungle Cruise and just shit.
Yeah,
like and like Boastful Loki. There's been a series since then.
That Madam Web, that 6-inch pop, the Madam Web from
That
the
just
cartoon
keeps going
series.
down in price.
It just
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep going. Their stock just don't move.
There is the Funko Fusion stuff from the game. That looks quite interesting because they're doing franchises that don't have their own pops, but they're part of the game, so they're making pops. So you got Nicholas Angel from Hot Fuzz, RJ McCready from The Thing, and then Megan.
Oh yeah, that'd be a cool pop. Yeah. So I don't mind a pop with like one like that. So I'd get Megan on the. But I think I've seen it. They are bringing out a pop, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's
a Funko Fusion. No, it's not an exclusive. It's just Funko Fusion. So it's like a purple box.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that must be what it is then. We've got a few people in the chat. Milky's in the chat as well. If you could give us some suggestions for top 5 next week, that would be really helpful. So, so this week we done top 5 The Boys characters, top 5 movie deaths. That was a really good one. And we done top 5 Funko Pop wish list. So we need another top 5 for next week, and then we'll make them into TikToks and shorts and stuff. But some really good suggestions from last week that went good tonight. I really enjoyed the movie deaths one. We got some good variety. And I'm quite shocked I missed out the Dobby one. That's the one.
So did I. I was quite surprised. And I enjoyed seeing you get a bit of karma after mocking me for Pirates of the Caribbean last week.
That's the best thing to do. Yeah, because when we do these lists, we don't discuss it. You know, we just say it live on stream. Milky says top 5 movie cars. Was that car movies? Movie cars?
No, I think like say the Batmobile would be one, or Mad Max cars, stuff like that.
Lightning McQueen.
Yeah,
that's your number one, isn't it? Yeah.
Movie cars. You got like
Pizza
Challenger.
Let's just say top 5 movie vehicles. That's better one.
I'm struggling. Yeah, we're
That's
better
good, actually. There's loads I can think of actually.
Oh, what's it called? The DeLorean.
TV. Let's go TV and movies because you can get some really crazy ones there.
I'll just look behind me. Eleanor. What's Eleanor? Does he mean the Ghostbusters thing?
No, that's Ecto-1.
That's what. No, I know it's Ecto-1. I thought it might be a typo. That's why. I'm actually looking behind me.
Eleanor. It's it's the Nicolas Cage one.
Ghost Rider?
Nicolas Cage drives it in a movie, and I can't remember the name. If we type in Eleanor car, it'll come up.
Come on, Milky. You just put Eleanor.
His thumbs can't go quick enough.
That'd be interesting.
That's it. Gone in 60 seconds.
There you go.
Well then, Paul.
They've come in clutch with it.
I'm very jealous of your profile picture as well, Paul, because I was looking forward to meeting David Bradley next week, but he's cancelled LFCC now, unfortunately.
He cancelled a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just didn't want to announce it until they announced it today on the Instagram story.
Yeah, Mark. That's because Mark. That was Mark.
Yeah.
Mark asked.
Wow, there you go then. What was the question? Has he cancelled?
Yeah, is he going?
No, I'm surprised they answered it. At least they answered it. I think let's have a quick. If you can come up with any more suggestions, then so we'll do top 5 movie transport then or something. But let's try and not go Star Wars heavy. I know I'm sure we're gonna put like Slave 1 in there and all that kind of stuff.
It's not Slave 1 anymore. We can't call it that.
It's Boba Fett's ship now.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So let's talk about Star Fury for a minute then, because there's been a few cancellations, but it's still a good little lineup. What I have liked is the actual organizer is actually replying to all the questions and he's communicating with fans, which is so refreshing because you're spending a lot of money on this. You know, you kind of got to put trust in these organizers and
very transparent, isn't he?
So I think I saw a post where he said like, we tried to get these people, they weren't interested, unfortunately. It's just what you want to hear, just a bit of back and forth because you are putting down a lot of money.
Yeah, and as soon as they get them, they announce them.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on the con? Because we have debated it for the last couple of months, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been debating it since they announced it, but it's one of those that seems, at the time especially, it seemed too good to be true because it's guests that don't tend to do cons in the UK, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of good guests going to one place, and it's like, oh, we've heard it's at a hotel, and but it looks like it's going to be decent. It'd be interesting to see whether it's like Basingstoke, the setup with the hotel, and if it goes to pot or what. But they've done quite a lot of stuff before. They've done like the Smallville cast, and they've done Lucifer as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're on the 8th Lucifer one or something like that.
Really? Yeah, so it looks good, and the pricing is really good. Usually, the reason we weren't going originally is because they do a gold ticket, is what they call it. So it's 200 and something quid, but you can go to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Friday, you get meet and greets as part of your ticket with all the guests on a Friday night, which is really cool. Something very different. How long you get with these guests, I don't know if everyone's got one of these tickets.
Probably 2 minutes, maybe, conversation that you had with them.
Still cool, though. For the price of what a diamond pass can cost at some cons, So,
just
that's
video
cool.
the whole thing.
Yeah, and then the standard guests, their autos are included in the ticket, which is cool again. But then I think they struggled to sell tickets, I assume, and they started selling general sale for any of the days. And the pricing has been confirmed, I think it was today or yesterday, and the pricing is actually really good for the guests. Like
all under 100, isn't they?
Like a man who is Ezra, it's 30 quid for an auto.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And
Sabine's only 40.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great compared to like you see some guests. Like I was adding stuff up earlier for LFCC, and some you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Why that's that price? And then some people are like, how is that warranted? It must just be because you're paying someone a lot of money to get them there.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were saying this at Wales last year, weren't we? Like Sean Gunn was 30 quid, but then like Ella Purnell, granted, is now becoming quite big, but she's what was she, 70 or something, 75, which is a lot of money early doors. We're getting someone like Sean Gunn, who's been in Marvel, DC, numerous other projects. It's
Sure,
yeah. So the fact
price.
that all of the guests are at a good price is really good. And as you said about the organizer, the fact he's replying to people, you can tell he is actually like a nerd himself,
So
effectively.
replying publicly. He's not replying to DMs.
On his own Facebook account.
Yeah.
From what I've heard from consignments people that have been to the con, they're not very big on that. They're not very big on the consignment thing either. So they limit that, unlike most cons. Usually they have a conversation with the person. If they can get it done behind doors, they will do. And it's a really good social event if you're a fan of that particular franchise, because you meet everybody. Obviously, it's a Star Wars event, so everybody's talking Star Wars. There's a bar because it's a hotel. Yeah, it is that kind of event. It is that kind of event. It's really like sitting in a room with celebrities and just having a conversation, and then getting an autograph if you feel like it.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I'm not sure if it's a convention or it's more of a signing day kind of thing. It doesn't look like there's stalls and stuff. That doesn't.
No, there isn't.
You know what I mean?
It's just signing and photo ops and the Q&As that they do.
Yeah,
it's a strange dynamic, isn't it? It'd be interesting to see.
Milky said top 5 soundtracks, so
it's a good one.
Keep it related. We'll do movie soundtracks. So instead of just soundtracks, we can be putting anything. Corey said top 5 video games or video characters, which has we've actually already done it. Me and Coombsy on, I think, one when he was absent. I can't, top 5 videos. Coombsy, can you remember any of your answers? I know I've done the last of us.
Yeah, my first one was Red Dead Redemption.
My first one was Star Wars Battlefront 2, but the PS2 game, not the reformulated one. So that was a good one. So yeah, we'll do the top 5 vehicles. We'll do top 5 soundtracks. If we can get another suggestion for next week, that would be
characters
really good.
Is a good one though. Video game characters.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Video character. I don't know what I'd do. Because that'd probably just be like, what would you go for, like Banana Man in Fortnite or something?
What, Peely?
Banana Man in Peely.
I don't know his name.
I had the pop.
Man.
I had the pop. Yeah. I made quite a lot of money on that pop.
yeah, it's surprisingly expensive.
Is it?
Yeah.
He's useless in the game, isn't he? He don't do nothing.
No, he's got a lot of skins.
It's a lot of skins. So,
all
right. So what's coming up, guys, on the channels? We've got. Well, I can't actually believe this, Joe. I can't believe Coombsy's not coming at FCC.
I ain't got the money because I owe Mark. And yeah, there's no guest for me.
I didn't think there was for me, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, there is. What's coming up for me? I've doing a video at some point this weekend. I've got a script written out. Another Lord of the Rings video. It's about Tom Bombadil. So for people that don't know who Tom Bombadil is, because he's not appeared in live action, it'll be a backstory on who Tom Bombadil is, what he's been in before, where he comes from in the novelizations, and a little tease of his appearance in The Rings of Power Season 2. So sort of a backstory, because otherwise, if you don't know who he is, you'll see this character that people will be flipping out over in Rings of Power, and people are like, it's just a Hagrid looking dude.
When's that come back? August
29th.
Oh, nice. That'd be decent. Is House of Dragon finished by then?
Yeah. House of Dragon will be done in July.
Yeah, that'd be good. Coombsy, anything coming up?
Not that I know. I know that I've got some stuff coming at some point. I just don't know when, because it's like delivery times and it's busy. So I've not been doing things. I do want to put out TikToks, but obviously there's a very limited thing you can do when you're not going to a convention. And if it wasn't my item getting signed, I don't see the point of like recording an autograph getting signed.
You've got August. You've got Comic-Con Wales, and then
that's the big
all the Spidey movies come back in August today.
Well, hopefully we get to see Spider-Man 2 that weekend.
Yeah, so there's a lot of so it's a big month August, and July is Deadpool Wolverine, and so the premiere is in London. So hopefully something can happen there.
We're
find
tempted.
Out a lot nearer the time with that one. For myself coming up, today I actually bought Blu-rays, which I've not bought for a long time. So for my movie poster challenge, I've got The Great Escape to watch, which isn't on any platforms on Netflix and nothing. So I've got The Great Escape to watch, and then I bought a film which I'm not sure if you two have seen, but it's on TikTok. You see people put their favorite films on their letterbox on the photos, and this film always comes up, and it's a film I've always wanted to see. So do let me know if any of you two have seen it, but it's her. No, I've seen it.
I have. I just remember it's a bit odd. It's very good. I need to rewatch it. The director of that is Spike Jonze, who is one of the directors of Jackass, which is funny enough, and he won an Oscar for her.
Yeah, Spike Jonze.
And all the Jackass boys were all like chanting in the academy. It was so bizarre when he won it. Cause it's like, he's in Jackass.
Yeah,
I've seen his nuts. He's like, he just won an Oscar. I know, where are we putting that fella?
I'm gonna have to type
next episode of Jackass.
Spike Jonze.
I'm Steve-O, and this Oscar's going up my butt.
Yeah.
Actually, that might have been an episode, and we don't remember it.
Yeah, he does look familiar. So I've got a movie poster challenge to do. Maybe a House of Dragon episode 3 reaction. Just depends what time I get to watch it. Just to work, because it turns out the House of Dragon episode comes out the night of when we play when England play. So it's really hard to do these videos sober. So that's the biggest struggle. So England are on.
Listen.
Yeah,
I've not had a beer in any of the England games. Crazy. Nope.
No, I can't say the same. And then if we win Sunday, England play when we're at LFCC Comic Con. So
I'll be drinking on that one.
so I might actually, if we win Sunday, I'm actually gonna have to wear my England shirt to the con, which I think will be quite funny. Just wear an English shirt to the con.
My away kit got delivered today.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people that are probably doing that, to be fair, because there's not much
Yeah.
else to do.
Yeah. For me, con-wise for LFCC, I think I'm going to pass on Rupert Grint. I don't think.
Have you seen how many diamond passes he sold?
A lot.
7 batches.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's more than Kit Harington.
Yeah, that's like 50. That's 25 or 50. I can't remember which one it is, but per slot. So it's going to be really hard to get him.
It might be less now, because they did a post the other day, and they said they've made less diamond passes.
Yeah,
didn't they? So it might be 25. I think it used to be 50.
But the fact that he sold that many is, I imagine people are coming from Europe for him. But now he's at Liverpool, so it's kind of.
He must be fuming.
Like, his photo price is pretty good, I think. It's reasonable. 25
90?
quid less than the 90. Yeah, 90, 95, something like that.
Well, that doesn't make sense, because usually it's the same.
Kits was different.
Milky says top 5 movies that made you cry.
Oh no!
This is like
because you the PTSD right there.
Yeah, then we have to rewatch it. Last film I cried
must be a list of Florence Pugh films.
Ready Player One.
Midsummer made me cry.
Ready Player One.
She kissed someone in that. I think last film I cried at was probably Return of the King. Or not cry, but have watery eyes. That was pretty last film. That's a very good shout though. There's some films that make me cry that I just won't watch again. With the most obvious one is Bicentennial Man, Robin Williams.
Oh, great film.
I can never watch that. I watched
I
it
think
once.
one of mine would be Oppenheimer because it makes you right at the end. It's like that's actually far too realistic, and it makes me want to cry, and I'm very disturbed.
Yeah, that's just a long film as well. Milky says he's going to struggle to watch to do his video for next week if England win Sunday, or Scotland are out, aren't they? So it's all England now, mate. Goodfellas, Goodfellas make you cry? Anyone seen Goodfellas?
It's one of the best films of all time.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing. I don't know if
Is it on your poster?
It will be on Tel's poster. Probably the trilogy.
Let's have a look.
Number 2 is the best sequel of all time.
1990. Yeah, it's about number 70 odd. So I've got to crack on with it. Really, I'm falling behind. And Coco, one a day.
Yeah, Coco makes me ball up every time.
Yeah, Coco. Yeah, definitely gives me watery eyes.
Right there with you, Nick.
Right, and so yeah, I think we're going to go through Milky's suggestions. It's top 5 movie soundtracks, top 5 transport.
We're going to go with
movie transport, and top 5 films that make you cry. So give me.
I don't want to do that one.
So yeah, we've had no other suggestions. But
somebody suggest something now.
Mega Man 2 made me cry. Mega Mind 2 made me cry. I wasted my life on that piece of shit.
Does that exist?
Yeah, it's the worst film of this year.
Is cinema?
No.
It's on Disney Plus.
Mega Mind's DreamWorks. Is that DreamWorks? Or is it? What is that?
Yeah, I think something like that. It might be the worst film I've ever seen.
Oh.
I didn't even put it on Letterboxd. I refused.
You can't confess to watching it.
-1 star.
Awful.
Yeah, I've still got to try and get 10 films in this month. So these 2 films I bought today will boost it up. But clock is ticking.
Where did you buy your Blu-rays?
I got them HMV. So the price was actually a decent price. It was $7.99 Great Escape and $6.99 for her, so it actually wasn't that bad. So to get brand new Blu-rays, and I have got Trainspotting here, so I am buying a few of the collection from that 100 greatest movie poster list. So it's not too bad. It's on Now TV. Oh, there you go. Mega Man 2.
It's on Sky then.
So might have to watch it then to make me cry. It could be on the list. But yeah, we're going to start wrapping up then, guys. So thank you for everyone that's tuned in tonight. Yeah, and especially for those who have spoken in the chat. Big weekend for us, if England fans. Hopefully, Mark's tuning in now. Mark, Mark, you're a bit late, son. If you can come up with a suggestion within the next minute for next week to save Coombs' blushes, that'll be helpful.
Blushes, I'm gonna ball on the floor.
But yeah, Mark's just finished work. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. We will see you next week. Come on, England. Hopefully, it's coming.
Southgate out.